All right, well, welcome back. What we're going to do here is we're going to go perform some more operations and functions. In my last tutorial, I did adding, subtracting. Today, I'm going to do some multiplication and dividing. What we're going to do is we're going to perform the operation, and also what we're going to do is we're going to find the domain. All right, so we're going to do the operation, and we're also going to find the domain. And I'll put domain just so I remember to do that. All right, for this function. All right, so without further ado, we're going to take f of x times g of x, f of x times g of x. Well, I have my two functions here. I have f of x, which is 4x to the 2/3. I have g of x, which is 5x to the 1/2. In order to figure this out, we're going to take 4x to the 2/3 power, all right? And we're going to multiply that by g of x, which is 5x to the 1/2 power. All right, now when we do this, the key thing is before we move any farther, probably want to look at what's the domain of this function starting out. Now, the domain, remember, is always the beginning of the function before you simplify. Now, right here, what we have is, you notice that we have 2 to the 3rd power. So, which is actually, this is the cubic, right? So, if you recall, this is cubic, cube root, all right? And right here, this means that we have a square root. Now, a square root, we know that we cannot plug negative values inside of a square root, all right? So what that means is that our answer has to be all x values greater than or equal to 0. All right, so that's going to be our domain because of that part right there. We're going to simplify this to see what happens. All right, because we have the same base, we can multiply these. So I'm going to multiply 4 times 5, which is going to give us 20. We're going to simplify this a little farther. We're going to have x, and what we need is a common, all right, common base. So we're going to have x, and that common base is going to be 6. So I'm going to have 4/6, and then I'm going to times that by x to the, all right, 3/6. Now, when we have that, that's going to simplify to, we have 20, and then we're going to add these together, and we have x to the 7/6 power, right, 7/6 power. And that would be our simplified answer. Now, some books or some things also want to simplify a little bit more. Um, I'm going to keep it here because right here, because we transformed this into a rational exponent, we're going to just keep this as a rational exponent, and it actually is improper fraction. So we could maybe simplify a little bit farther, but we just have this right here, which I think would be fine. So once again, our domain, our simplification, and that's what we have. All right, well, let's check out another one. Let's check out number one called 16. Now in this one, we're not going to be multiplying, we're actually dividing here. Okay, and we're going to divide f of x, right, 4x to the 2/3 divided by g of x. Now g of x is 5x to the 1/2. All right, now with this, we're going to do the same thing. All right, define the domain. All right, define the domain of the function. I'll write this out. Define the domain. The column's a little bit right here. All right, define the domain of function. We're going to look at what we have here. Well, once again, we have a cube root and we have a square root. So because we have a square root, all x values have to be greater than or equal to 0. Now, after we identify this, because we have our even root, we then have to figure out, okay, what also will make this undefined? Well, in looking at this, we see that a denominator, all right, so we see our even root, but then we also see that the denominator, all right, the denominator cannot equal 0. So when does it equal 0 in the denominator? Well, you can see that when I plug x equaling 0, all right, that's when it'll be here. So x can equal 0 there. So combining these two, x has to be greater than equal to 0, but it can't equal 0. So I guess our true domain, combining these two different things together, is going to be, our domain is going to equal all x values just simply greater than 0. All right, because that's what we got. All right. And so we have there. Now we're going to simplify this something a little bit farther. I'm going to subtract those two. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take 4/5. I'm going to keep that right there. I'm going to take x to the 2/3, and I'm going to multiply that by x to the negative 1/2. I'm going to put that on top. 1/2 power. We're going to subtract these two exponents. So we have 4/5. We're going to have x2. Once again, 6 is going to be our key thing, just like the other side. So that's going to be 4/6 minus 3/6. And what we have then is a simplified answer of, I'll probably move this over a little bit. All right. move that over a little bit. And what is our simplified answer going to be? Let me change my color. Let's make this, we'll make it black. All right. And we'll have 4/5. Subtract those, and we'll have x to the 1/6 power. All right, 1/6 power. And that is going to be our simplified answer. Now, once again, when you find your domain, and this is domain, by the way, my writing was kind of bad for there. But our domain, we always find the domain by looking at our original functions and then our original operation. From there, that is what makes our domain. So yes, even though that this right here would include 0, because we divided and that was our original operation, we cannot include 0 for our final domain. Okay, so it's very important when you find domain, what you plug in, you have to always look at your original, all right, your original function, which in this case is f of x divided by g of x, which can be simplified to this expression right there. All right, let's go one more. One more. All right, so we're going to take f of x divided by f of x. Okay, f of x divided by f of x. So we look at this, and I'll write this out. All right, f of x minus f divided by f of x. Well, that seems pretty easy. All right, when we write this out, f of x, if you recall, I'm just going to actually bring this down here, since we just have one of them. I'm going to bring this and slide this down here so we know what it is. So we're going to take f of x divided by f of x. So what we have is 4x to the 2/3 divided by 4x to the 2/3. Now, once again, let's just look at our domain first before we simplify any of this. Our domain, and we can plug anything in here. So x is going to be all real numbers. So we can say all reals. That means we can plug everything in there. You can also write it like that if you sometimes do that. Also, you could write it like so. This is also interval notation. All right. So each one of these means all reals. But we can plug any values for x into here. Now, obviously, you can see f of x divided by f of x is actually going to equal 1. So that is going to be our simplified answer, 1. And yes, we can plug anything into here, all right, because it's a cube root and not a square root. All right, so that is how we can add or actually divide and multiply different various expressions using different operations. I hope this helps you out and how to do this, and also hopefully it helps explain how you find domain of these different functions. Well, good luck and God bless in the rest of your problems.